Hi, I'm Jacob Raven,
I'm Louis Burgess.
and we're going to talk about what technologies we used in our film. We used the Canon 50D, and so I knew how to use my camera before this, but we used a tripod to get all our shots. Obviously, it's quite steady, and just get some locked off shots and some movement. And another thing, one of the main technologies we learned how to use was actually the editing software Final Cut Pro 7, and it was quite a big software to learn how to use because all I really knew how to do was shorten and lengthen shots. Not lengthen, shorten shots and yeah, stuff like that. Because our film's film noir and it's black and white, so you really need to think about. We first of all need to know how to put the filter on, or as we did, desaturate all the footage. And also we got some things red and colour shown, so we need to learn how to use that. We also needed to stabilise things. We needed to add titles, transitions. So it's quite a big software to use.
I mean, I knew nothing about it. As Jacob was the editor, I was kind of just there witnessing all of it, but there was so much more involved than we thought. Because coming from when we first did our prelim task, we just used iMovie. And
we didn't even use that. We used like a little editing software on my phone.
Very simple. But then from going from that, because we literally had no idea what to do, and I was just like amazed at how much you could do.
Yeah, it's quite a dense software to use. Like I use other softwares, like I know how to use other Apple softwares like Logic, but Final Cut is a very dense software with quite a lot of elements to it. So I started off with one of our teachers who showed me how to desaturate footage, how to get a rough edit. We started with a rough edit, so we labelled all our shots and put them into bins, and then we brought them into Final Cut, and so that was one of the main things that I learned how to use. Then once our Final Cut was ready, we added titles to it, which we did in another tab, so I learned how to use like the tab elements.
And then the whole fading in and fading out of titles.
Which transitions, fade-ins, fade-outs, dissolves, fade to blacks. Also, our titles were very important, so we loved that Final Cut had almost, I think, like hundreds of different fonts to use because our font had to be very gothic and conventional to film noir.
Yeah. But also, I think the best thing for our film Final Cut was all about the sound effect, the Foley effects that we used.
Yeah.
In terms of like the elevator, the footsteps.
We went to freesoundeffects.com, but we also used quite a lot of, again, in Final Cut, because Final Cut really caters to all films. We used a couple of door opening, door closing Foley effects, but we also learnt how to strip other sound out of our footage. So we stripped most of the sound apart from a couple of things where we had like doors closing with the lift, his walking because it was perfectly in time, stuff like that. But we really made it seem like it was very consistent, and the room tones are very good. Also, another thing we used is Soundtrack Pro, which was to create our soundtrack.
Because we had a bit of a saga.
We saw that creating a song of our own to tailor the atmosphere
would just
was very
make it
important.
more of our film, more of an original product. So we went along with that, and Jacob's song's actually great.
We also used things like Facebook for audience research for our classmates to like talk about our film. We were going to use the new software Adobe, but I think because Final Cut's such an old software, not an old software, such a respected software, and it's got everything we needed in it, I think that's why we chose that. And that was one of our probably our main technology. That's pretty much it. Thanks a lot.